This is your only warning. If you do not like scary stories or sounds, please click away. Continue with your own risk. What's up, Insomniacs? Sorry you're having trouble sleeping tonight, but thank you for joining me. Tonight, I've got a couple of stories to tell. And technically, they're all connected. My brother, sister, two cousins of mine, and I were all hanging out in our childhood home. My mother, dad, and both of my grandparents are in town running some errands, and they decided to leave the kids behind. We had jumped on the trampoline for a bit until we got bored and hungry, so we decided to go inside and make us something to eat. We sat down at the dining room table, ate our lunch, and decided that we would tell some scary stories. I started first. My story was called The Hog Man. You see, in the little town that we lived in called Eula, there was this man that lived on this hilltop that I lived nearby. In front of this man's house, there was an old shack made from tin panelings, and it was the talk of the school ride bus. The school bus ride. Every time we'd walk near it, we would never walk. It was always a sprint to get past. And that was because of the story connected to it. The man that lived behind it, aka the Hog Man, who the kids decided was this old man. Then at night, he would wear this hog head that he had cut from a corpse of a pig. He would walk around the forest at night, along the trails and roads, carrying a hook and looking for anybody walking alone. He would swing his hook into them, having it impale through their skin, and drag them back to that little shack on the hill, where he would slowly and methodically torture them until they died. was said if you ever come across the shed and the light is on, that a victim was still alive in there, hoping and begging that someone would find them. And that's the story of the Hogman. After my story had concluded, it was my cousin's turn. Her story was a bit longer, so bear with me. It went something like this. The time was nearing Christmas, and a mother and a daughter had been walking through the mall. The mom trying to get an idea of what her daughter might like. And that's when the girl had spotted a shop selling the latest Cabbage Patch dolls. The girl's face lit up as she looked through the window. With them being so new, the mother knew she wouldn't be able to afford one, so they left the mall empty-handed. And later through the week, the mom made her way through many stores, pawn shops, and antique trinket shops. Just looking for something her daughter would like. And that's when she spotted this pristine doll still in its box, with a cute little outfit on and bells on her feet. She called over the clerk and asked how much she wanted for it, and the clerk said the doll wasn't for sale. After begging the shopkeeper, she let it go for $10 and a warning to never let the doll's bells ring. The mother thought it was odd, but agreed. After getting it home, wrapping it up, and letting the little girl find it on Christmas Day, the mother had forgotten all about the warning. The little girl started playing with the doll, brushing its hair, changing its clothes. But she made the bells ring. The next morning, the daughter was all alone. Her mother never woke up, and her dad came home. He found his wife laying in bed, covered in blood, with her neck slit. He dropped his daughter off at her grandmother's. Because the man still had to work. With the daughter none the wiser, she just began playing with her dolls. And once again, she rang the bells. this time taking both of her grandparents in the exact same way that her mother died. And her dad wound up crashed on the side of the road. Only found because the police officers tend to watch over this road for speeding. The daughter was then found by police and moved over to her aunts. She forgot the doll in the police cruiser whenever she was in moving process. The man found it laying in his back seat. He had picked the doll up and accidentally rang the bells. He placed it in his trunk and got back on his way. A few moments later, he noticed the doll in his rearview mirror. And that's the end of that story. The last story was the craziest to be told. And that was because of the situation it put us in. Again, one of my cousins taking the lead. And I may have it a little bit mixed up, but bear with me. In this house, there were 3 daughters. The youngest, the middle, and the oldest. The mother had written a note telling the girls that whenever they wake up, to call their father. The first one to wake up was the oldest. She had made her way to the kitchen, found the note, and placed it back down, deciding to make herself a bowl of cereal and to watch some cartoons. A few minutes later, the back door flies open. And this is when the story became reality. You won't believe it, but the actual back door of my house flew open. Spooking us a bit, but not too much. My cousins and I, and my brother and sister, made our way over to the door to close it. We closed the door and returned back to the dining room table, where she continued her story. The oldest child makes her way back to the back door to close it. And that's when a hand grabs her. The next one to wake up is the middle child. She makes her way to the kitchen, spotting the note, reading it, and placing it back down. deciding to make herself a bowl of oatmeal and head to watch some cartoons. A few minutes pass by again, and the back door flies open. Once again, our real back door flies open. We are now freaking out. We don't know what's going on. Holding hands, we manage to still our nerves and close the back door, this time locking it in place. And returning to the dining room table to continue the story. The middle child makes her way to the back door, reaches out her hand for the handle, and the hand grabs her. The last kid to wake up, the youngest, makes her way to the kitchen, finds the note, reads it, and puts it down. Deciding to grab some Pop-Tarts and watch some cartoons. A few minutes go by, and the back door flies open. And once again, our locked back door flies open with such force that it slams against the wall on the outside. At this point, we're all freaking out, and we take off running out the front door, down to a friend's house. It was funny, because that story my cousin made up on the spot. She didn't know it was gonna happen. Honestly, a great memory. Let me know which story was your favorite. And if you have your own, let me know. Have a good one.